Hey everyone, and we are live. Welcome to my February raid Dark Matter raid stream, and let's go ahead and get things started. I don't know how many of you were just on the Battle Pirates Crib Show, but we talked about the general overview of all the targets and went through the raid, looked at some of the updates, some of the prizes. What I'm going to be doing is going through the targets here and hitting them the lowest ones up to the highest ones. And if you have any questions, anything that you want me to know, want me to cover, drop that in chat and I can go ahead and get that answered for you. Starting out here, we are going to go with the silverfish. Looks like mine aren't quite repaired, so those are going to start repairing while I'm talking through and looking at some of the targets and the prizes and the tier sets. So it is a 6-day raid. All raids are 6 days now, not like old days apparently. And the top things in this raid is the Punisher Mark II. That's a launcher ship, and you're going to want to get that because it's going to be the best thing to use in the next raid. Looks like the targets here I'm going to be going through. Some of them we have seen before in the last raid. They were very similar. Even the same, the 50-51 with the Nemesis and the Saturn are the same, as well as I'm sure the 60s and the Pegasus, and then the Riot targets are different. That'll be the really interesting ones happening a little bit later from now. If you are watching this on a replay on my channel, feel free to skip ahead to whatever section you want covered, and I'll just be going through whatever targets are there. So let's pull out my Nemesis and Saturn and hit the lower level targets and see what we have going. I'm going to do the Saturn so I can kind of drive a little bit lazier for the first target, and then maybe Nemesis for the second target. Okay. I actually did not look exactly how many points these paid out. Here we go. Skurs Research Lab 1551. And I am playing in Flash, not HTML5. I just find Flash to still be more stable, so I wish that it was sticking around a little bit longer. And you can always still opt into Flash, even though the game says that you load into HTML5 default. Okay. Yep, this is the standard target here. It's a this one might be best to hit with Nemesis X, but you can do Saturn or Nemesis X. When these targets first came out, some were easier or harder to do. I'm going to drive a little bit better with one ship off as a tank, although I'm not going to hide in the clouds because that would take a while, and we've all seen these targets before. If you're lower level, but I can give you a little tip of you can take one of your ships and put it just outside the cloud, and all others should be parked inside the cloud. That way you're able to have, you can just kind of kite everything that way. Although I'm not quite sure that anyone's going to be hitting these targets at all because everyone did get the free fleet from this raid. Everyone got the free Riot fleet, so those targets are going to be what most people, or everyone is going to be able to hit those because you have the new Riot fleet. And I did show that on the Crib Show, happening for, I got down to top target. I could do for 2 coins on my first attempt. I'm sure it can go down from there, but 1 hour for the top target, even if you're not getting all the points, or it's about 4 coins or 2 hours for the other targets. So on this target right here, drive my attention back to what I'm going on. I have my tank split off from everything else because most of the damage is splash. I'm trying to avoid all the damage except for damage on my flag, my tank. You can see that it's split off from everything else. There are a lot of this lower level target, the C set, will deal. It does have penetrative and corrosive defense because that's what's coming at me. You want to use assault ships in this. If you don't have assault ships, you're not going to perform very well. You need to be using the right ships in these targets. And the good thing is Kixeye will tell you what ships you should use and even kick you out if you're not using those. Let's see here. And interesting note about these purple buildings, you have to kill these to trigger, I think they're substations of some sort. Once you kill those, the enemy Viperfish will trigger, but they won't trigger until then. Okay, pretty easy first target. Looks like instant repair on my back 4 ships, and then my flagship took a little bit of damage. And that's to be expected. You should drive it better than that, if not equal to that, for most of the things. Most of the damage taken was penetrative with only a little bit corrosive. 11 minutes of repair, showing you that you can do these. This is a 100% U0 fleet. My build shown right there. And I'm going to try and do a thoughts on the target after all of these. Thoughts on this target. It's good for what it does. It's a lower level target, doesn't pay out almost any points, but it is possible to do easily with a Saturn fleet. So thoughts on this target is I like it. Let's go ahead and get my Nemesis X fleet out for the next one and start this one repairing maybe, or maybe finish up my my silverfish. Those were not all the way repaired. Come on. Okay, Nemesis X against the level 51 is next. And you can use the Saturn on the first one or the Nemesis X on the first one. It doesn't matter which. Same thing for the second, the level 52. You can hit either or maybe it's level 51. It doesn't matter which one you're actually using. Let's see here. It's level 51 I want. And right here, right next to my base. Suppose I should minimize my radar so no one comes and snipes me. Not that that's really possible anymore. Let's see. Okay, same thing with this target. I might try and drive a little bit better with a tank. I will just show a brief example of using the cloud to kite things, I think. I'm going to leave my 4 ships in the cloud. Am I? I'm going to leave my 4 ships in the cloud and draw my flag off to the left over here, trigger everything. Now my 4 back ships will stay in the cloud, which means that they shouldn't take any damage. That's a little bit harder here because we have this ghost crawler. So you saw there, as soon as I ducked into the cloud, everything turned away. The ghost crawler is a lot harder to kill when it's purple, and especially if it gets close to me, it will see me. So this target is the better one to use Saturns on. The previous one was better to use Nemesis X. It's just a little bit tricky to do the cloud method I'm trying to show there. You do see that my I'm able to damage the ghost crawler, but it's taking a lot of volleys for not a lot of damage on this one. Okay. But so far I took about 1 corrosive shot from these, which is not a lot. If you want to kill the ghost crawler a little bit faster, like I said, you have to target that purple building, and that will trigger the enemy ships coming at you, and it will also make that little purple thing above the ghost crawler disappear. And that's a kind of fun mechanic, you know. So there we go. The ghost crawler is easier to kill now that it's already dead, so it didn't do much worth. And I'm gonna have to go around the entire back end of the target, get this purple building up here. If you get this one first and circle around, it's probably best to do it. But I'm showing you that this target can be done almost any method, almost any direction. It's really not that bad. Okay. And I do need to kill this purple building here to get these 3 ships to trigger. And I am going to use this cloud to hide in because I can snipe these 2, and then there's a 3rd ship if I'm in the cloud. But you do have to realize that the viperfish here will see you if you're in the cloud, so you have to be careful about that. Because as long as this one's alive, it can't see me. Now that it's dead, these enemy ships, they can't see me, they're circling back, and they're not going to shoot at me. As long as I stay inside the cloud, I'm going to be able to kill them. Great. Hey Jared, in chat, people are saying hello. I have to get things going. Looks like we're up to 26 viewers. If you want to post this anywhere, the Alliance pages, whatever else, feel completely fine by me, even if you're watching this later. There's still some good stuff in this video. I'll be going over the top targets later, and I'll try and also get videos of them on my channel at some point. The 142, 143, 90, 903, 904. Might not be instant repair. Might not be with it won't be with an X1 fleet for sure, because I don't have an X1 fleet. But I will try and show the lower level riots, and I don't have any real life conflicts this raid, so I should be able to make a bunch of videos this week, as well as a look at some Punisher builds for everyone for next week's. Hey Hank, 2 people there talking in chat. There's 24 lurkers, so here we go. And that's that target done. It looks like I took a little bit more damage. Might not be instant repair on a couple of the ships. Looks like I had a lot more damage focused on ship number 2, which is strange. Usually it's focused on ship number 5, and if not, it's on ship number 1. Let's see, a lot of penetrative damage, not a lot of corrosive. That's to be expected. And 23 minutes damage, so if it was spread around evenly, it would be instant repair. Another 5,000 points. Set bonus for those 2 targets is 10,000 points. That's the lower level stuff done. Let's move on to tier B is next. I'm doing pretty well, Jared. Been back playing Battle Pirates, so that's great. Hope you're doing okay. Okay, let's see. Next up is my silverfish. I'm not using a crew for any of this lower stuff. I'm just going through with the regular fleet. Up to 29 people in chat, which is great, and we're back down to 26, so everyone's joining and leaving or something. Let's see. These ones, you want to hit the level 60 and the level 62, both with the same fleet. These are scourge targets. They're skirmish targets, so your fleet should be dealing concussive damage and have both explosive and concussive defense. You don't want to use the wrong ships against this target. Okay, here we go. Looks like this is the same target as it was last raid. You might be able to bring your, your suppressor in here and kill some things that way. Kill some of these gluttonies at the top of the target if they're in this one. If not, they're in the 62. And yeah, it looks like this gluttony at the top, if you bring your suppressor, it can deep dive and go all the way over there and kill that. But I don't have a suppressor because I never built one because you don't need them. Now this silverfish fleet, I forgot to show my arch nemesis build, but I do have a video for that on my channel. And anyway, that had a couple ships upgraded. My silverfish are all at U3. They could be at U0. It'd be the same path, maybe a little bit more damage taken by you. Okay. A little bit more damage at U0 fleet. I'm going to try and kill this big gluttony first here, because that glowing effect there means something. I think it just means it's extra challenging, difficult, and it is getting healed there by the suppressor. I'm not seeing the ring on the... Oh, it's the phantom gluttony here. The gluttony right here is healing it. So if you want, you should probably kill the gluttony first. And sometimes the suppressor at the top of the target, I seem to remember a ring on it. Does anyone else remember that? It has been something I've seen before, but apparently not this time. A healing ring around it. Let's see, a bunch of ships are overloaded and I want to try and engage a few at a time. I'm not nitpicking this target because I'm just showing it through. Not a ton of people are going to be hitting this with the with the new riot fleet we all got. And if you didn't see that already, if you want to go back and watch the Battle Pirates Crib show, I did mention that I used my riot fleet against the top targets here, my Kixeye one, and with no changes to it. Although I am suggesting if people haven't seen it, everyone should change that alloy armor CTX. I would recommend changing that around for a different special, as well as putting on one cormorant anti-torpedo if you can. That will make your fleet work better, and everyone wants their fleet to work better. Come on, things need to die faster. The thing about this target is all the ships are moving around and overloaded, and there's a bunch of UAVs. So it's sort of complicated graphics in that term. Okay. Die faster. I need to kill this gluttony right here if I want things to die faster. Because that's healing everything else. There we go. It's not very obvious it is because there's usually a ring around this, but not on this one. I do have cormorant anti-torpedoes on this ship. I'm going to see if I can zoom in and catch it working. Let's see. That doesn't have any... Here we go. Yep. If you just saw it there, it was hard to see because I'm having 3 frames per second. But I did have my cormorant anti-torpedoes did fire, and they just did right there again at these enemy torpedoes. So I did see some people saying that cormorants weren't working, although it looks like they definitely are. I'm going to go ahead and refresh right now just so that I get a little bit faster frames, a little bit smoother stuff, so that we can have a better experience. Looks like I have one more target to hit. I have to hit the 62 in that set. Now both of these targets did pay out 25,000, and the 60 and 62, which I'm about to do, with a total of a 50k set bonus. So you hit the entire 60 set, you get 100,000 points, which is not insignificant, but it's not very good either. You could grind this out and hit a bunch of those targets, although I'm not able to do them for instant repair, so I'm not sure if other people would be able to. If you can do them for instant repair and your Riot fleet's dead and your Pegasus fleet, maybe you never built one, then it might be worth it to do. Okay, we're going to be back here in a second, as soon as the game loads back up. And here we go. I just hit the 60. Let's see what the repair was on that one. Under an hour. Where's my fleet? Right here. Under an hour of repair for that one. 51 minutes, and all spread out pretty evenly. Maybe it looks like a little bit less on U1. I do have my build here. I do have an X armor on several of these ships. One of the new higher tier 8 X armors, and that helps reduce some damage on some of these targets. That's different from my original build for these. Let's see, where is the 62? 62 Scourge Apiary. Come on. I almost wish that for these targets you could just click your base, maybe your how TLCs are. You could click your campaign, relay tower, and everything would pop up from there. So you wouldn't have to scroll across the map to find targets, and there wouldn't be a bunch of targets cluttering the map. That's an idea that I've seen proposed quite a while ago, to be honest. Okay, let's see. Level 62 time. And I'm not repairing my fleet. I'm not using a crew here either. One of the targets that was in the last raid, I think it was the 902 or something like that, the very top tier targets with the Riot fleet, is no longer here. They got rid of it. I actually kind of enjoyed that target. Maybe it was the 403. I can't remember what it was, but the top target last raid they got rid of. This target right here, the 62, there's a big channel of death here. You need to get out of that channel of death as quickly as possible, because these enemy ships are coming in. They're all grouped up about here and then circle in towards you. So you should try and get out of that one. There are some smart torpedoes coming at you, and I do have my ships equipped to shoot those down, but I'm going to try and take out the smart torpedo generating ships. I think these are, I'm not sure what these ones are called. Are these Nighthawks? I'm going to try and take them out pretty quickly. There's one taken out, because I don't like all those torpedoes coming at me. Then the gluttonies here are my next target, because I think these ones don't look like they're healing anything. The stonefish here can be taken out, and I am going to try and use this little wall here to circle behind this land tiles, because if you're behind the land tiles, then the enemy torpedoes can't hit you. If I'm also behind the mountains, then the enemy gluttony things right here, they're going to shoot and get stuck on the mountains. They won't be able to hit me, the mountain terrains, which is something that we're going to get to add to our base soon also, which is pretty nice. Okay. And these ships all like to cluster up. If they're clustered up, that's good. You have a little bit of splash. And if they're slower, that's good too, because your damage here, your weapons are not accuracy based. They're splash based weapons, which means that if an enemy ship is moving, you're more likely to get missed, or you're more likely to miss a moving target. It's not an automatic tracking one. Come on. Okay, this target looked pretty simple. I didn't repair from last time, so I didn't take a quarter of my fleet damage with this whole thing. That's level 62 done. Now we can get on the Pegasus. This is going pretty fast, which is great. Hey, Chris in chat. Saw you a little bit there. Wondering if anyone's hit some of these targets yet. Has anyone in chat hit anything, or is everyone just sticking to the higher level stuff? I'd expect everyone to just stick to the higher level stuff. Damage was mainly explosive, which is part of why I did this refit. And that was 40 minutes extra damage, and so a total of hour and a half damage, 400,000 points. That's not horrible, but not great either. Especially if you take into account target driving time. Let's see. Now we have the Pegasus. Things start to get a lot more interesting right about now. So I'm expecting to see more people showing up here, more people talking. This is the Pegasus against some of the new Chimera's Nest targets here, the ones that we had last raid, as well as a 803, which I'm not sure if that one is the 903 or if it is, or if it's based off the 405. We got Niall. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly. I sure hope I am. You're saying that you haven't started yet, but you'll hit the top targets. Yep, everyone will be hitting the top targets in this raid because we all got that free fleet. Okay, level 84, we've seen this one before. This is pretty tricky to drive, and having a speed crew or a damage crew helps in this one because you need to get to this, you need to outrun a lot of the enemy ships here if you want to have any sort of low damage. Nile, there we go, that's a better way to pronounce it. Thank you for correcting me. That's the correct way to pronounce it. Okay. And this target right here, I'm killing things and then enemy ships are incoming. I'm going to try and kite the enemy ships here by moving one ship away from everything else. Hey Diecast, welcome to the stream. I'm using one ship as a tank instead of trying to outrun things, and if that one ship is my War Pegasus, great, because it's got some of those little fancy bat wings, or the Desolation wings, I guess they're technically called. So those are useful for shooting things, killing them more quickly. It does feel like my ships are a little bit slower. Here we go. You can see all the damage so far on this target is on my War Pegasus, which is as expected. All your damage should be on your War Pegasus if you're using it as a tank. You're using it correctly. I might take a little bit on my other 4. Looks like my back 4 mine got scratched, but that's not a big deal. In previous raids, we could outrun everything. I think it was, not quite sure which raid, but you could outrun everything. You could outrun all the damage from all these ships here until they fixed a bug that made all the enemy ships sort of move faster and fire at the start of the reload cycle versus the end, was what we kind of determined was going on. So, you used to be able to kill these targets, these style of targets rather, for free, and now you can't. And most people probably do have a War Pegasus fleet built. Mine is at U0 completely. There's not a single ship in here upgraded, and I did the targets in the raid for instant repair with a U0 fleet, at least the first raid. Second raid was harder once they fixed that bug. Let's see, at this point I'm just going to press S and auto the target. Oh, I'm not. I'm going to stick my ships together, then press S, and all these buildings are really easy to do. Your ships will just go back and forth and kill everything like that. Let's see here. And I do have enough countermeasures on my fleet here that you can see I'm shooting down all of the enemy Legion missiles. They're all going down. Regardless of how many 3 or 4 enemy turrets here. The Testudo missile turrets are what these bigger ones are called. They're all getting shot down. The other turrets in here are countermeasure turrets, which are completely fine. I don't have to worry about dealing with those. They sort of work, although I think I have Razor Plume missiles on here instead of the Bladed Pinion missiles, which have a higher, at least I have some on, they have a higher countermeasure evade. Looks like we're actually pretty good, about 22, 23 frames, which is pretty good considering I'm streaming this and playing the game at the same time. Come on, things gotta hurry up here if they get to the new targets. And I am gonna drive it a little bit here so it goes more quickly. If you use your Desolation wings, it will finish the target faster. I'm not really interested in saving damage on this one. I'm just showing it so everyone can see what the target is. I'm not going to make a dedicated video on these targets, especially this raid when people aren't really going to be hitting them. I'm going to focus on the top tier targets. I'll probably make 1 or 2 videos per target. Probably one with my regular build X1, only one ship at X1 fleet, and then one with the free Kixeye fleet, maybe one with a little bit of changes or with a little bit of better driving on one or both of the fleets. So that should help people out. As well as I'll look at some Punisher builds and look at some of the dock weight changes and that kind of thing. This is a 6-day raid, so all raids are. I said that again. Let's see, my build on this ship is the same one that I've shown on my channel, and it does have 3 of the ranged CICs and 1 of the speed CICs. So it is lower damage, or excuse me, it's lower speed but higher range. And damage, there looks like there's a bunch of penetrative stuff I evaded or shot down. A little bit more corrosive than penetrative, which is not how it should be if I'm driving well. 53 minutes on that one. And let's see what the 84 has for us, or 86. That was an 84. The 84 pays out 100,000 points, and so does the 86. There is no set bonus for only the 84 and 86. I wish there was, but there's not. Let's see, for this 86 target here, you're going to want to make sure, if you're driving this, trying to do a really good job at driving this, you're going to want to take 1 chip and plop it off in the corner over here like I'm about to do. What this does is it triggers everything in the target to come at you. As soon as the ship is visible, right here, the enemy ship's on the side, you can see it in the mini map, and off to the left, they'll appear in a second, they'll start coming at me. As soon as they get close, as soon as they get in range of my other 4, then I'm going to want to hide that ship back in the middle. And it's actually better if I use my Pegasus that has a lower range CIC, because that as soon as this moves out, you can see that it has a smaller range and everything else now has a larger range. So it's better to use your, I think it's the turn CIC that decreases your range. So if I pull that one out there, things will come at me, and I have to select all but that 5th ship. If I do that, then things will come at me, and I'll have longer range to deal with them. And as soon as they're close, which is right about now, a little bit too late actually, I'm going to move it back into the cloud. That's the general technique. I did manage to get this one down to instant repair. I think it was, I got it to like 27 seconds of damage when I was doing this in the actual raid. And the technique's the exact same. I don't think the target's changed at all, even in terms of damage, since it was last actual real target. So if you want to know exactly how to do these targets with detailed voiceovers, my stuff from last raid cycle on these ones, I think they were called the 134 and 136 when that was happening, or maybe it was the 130. Yeah, it was 134, 136. Just search Battle Pirates level 134, level 136 Pegasus, and something will come up if you click on my stuff that has a little bit more detailed voiceovers. But you would only really do that, you would only really hit these targets if you're using your Pegasus while your riots are repairing, because everyone does have riots now. Okay, here we go. Trying to just drive decently, not perfect. I did mess up at the start there. I was going to try to do it better, but I didn't. And there's just a bunch of buildings left here. I'm going to try and use the clouds a little bit to hide in there. I'm not sure. You can snipe some things if you stay in the clouds. And I am going to be moving around the target like this, just in range with my War Pegasus, Desolation Wings, my Bat Wings, so I can kill things a little bit more quickly. And as long as I don't stop moving, these enemy Fog Cutter missiles will not hit me. I think last raid they had the old 130 and the old 132 in here instead. Those targets were easier. The old targets that we had last raid were easier. These are harder a little bit, but they are just a little bit of a variation on this. So variation, more excitement's fun. Now, in terms of the set, the 2 I just showed you, the 84 and this one, the 86, there is no set bonus for just these 2 targets. There is a set bonus for including the 803 target also. I wish there was a set bonus for these 2, but the 803 set bonus is only 100,000, which is how much you get for doing an 84 or an 86. So if you can't do the top 806 target, which is the next one I'll show, you're only missing out on 100,000 points per set, which is pretty small. I do wish that, and that's instead, if the set bonus was what you'd expect it to be at 450,000 for the B set here, for the 86, the 84, and the 803, then players who could only do these middle two targets, these lower two targets, the 84 and 86, would miss out on a lot of points. Making it 100,000 means that you really don't have to do that top target there, and it's not super worth it to necessarily do that top target, at least in terms of a set bonus perspective. I don't know if that makes any sense. That's Kixeye's methodology. That's their process. I do wish that they had a set bonus for the 84 and 86. If I was organizing it, that's how I'd have it happen, because it is disadvantaging players who can only do these. It is sort of disadvantaging players doing with a Pegasus fleet in general. I have one building left in the bottom of the target here. We can see what we have in the next one. And none of these so far have been a co-op target, although that might be about to change. There definitely is the 904. The top target in this raid is co-op. I'm not sure if the 803 is or not. We'll find out. Okay, most damage from that target was corrosive, which means I probably didn't drive that well. Okay, 803. I'm hoping this is the old 900 target. I think it was the 901. I'm hoping it's that old one as opposed to the 505. Yeah. So I think this is an old one as co-op, which means that someone else can join and sit in the corner, but they have to join at a certain time. Okay, here we go. So this is the old 902 target, I think it was. Can't remember what it was, but if you did this raid, you know what I'm talking about. For this target, you want to take your ships and you want to park them up in this corner right here. That's all you need to do. Take your ships, park them in the corner. These enemy legion targets, these enemy legion ships will come in through here. They go up through the clouds, up through the clouds. You could also park your ships in this specific cloud right here and deal some damage to some of the ships, although you don't. That's not necessary. I like to head off at the left side of the target. And when my ships are up there, I kill these two turrets, and then I wait. I'm free from getting damaged here. I can even move a little bit further away so that these ships definitely don't come after me. I just have the Legion ships hit the Legion turrets. Or, excuse me, the Scourge ships hit the Legion turrets. And I avoid all damage. I'm absolved of all responsibility. And this is a great target to have in this raid. I'm really happy that they included it, because we really liked it when it was a raid target in the last raid, at least. So all these things are killing each other, which means that the total points I can get from this one, 150,000 from dealing damage. I'm going to get a lot fewer points than that. Maybe less than half the points of the actual 150,000 for dealing damage. And that's something we'll see in these top targets as well. If you can stick your ships a little bit closer in range here, you can kill some of the enemy ships. They might come at you if you get a little bit too close, but there's so many here, I think I can get away with doing a little bit of damage to them. Here we go. I'm going to pick them off a little bit while the enemy turrets. You can see that the enemy fog cutter missile, the red turret, still here's firing in that arc. This is the last target here. It's been 34 minutes. It's the last target before we get to the higher level ones, the new targets at least. Yep, after this one's a bunch of new things. Okay, die. Great. Now you could maybe auto it right here. I'd prefer to target the turrets individually. See, if you're just targeting them, then things can die. They'll die a little bit faster, and you need to make sure you don't stop too long because the fog cutter missiles do hurt. If you get hit by them, it's an extra half hour of damage per each one that you get hit by. I'm going through here just targeting the enemy testudo missile turrets and keeping moving. That will work fine. You could drive all the way around at the outside, take a little bit less damage, especially on these ones right here with my shorter range build. I'm barely able to hit those. There's about 3 or 4 ships on the top here. That does happen sometimes. Sometimes there's 0 ships left. Sometimes there's 4 or 5 ships left. That's because of some of the enemy targeting when the enemy turrets are dealing damage to these enemy Legion turrets, dealing damage to the enemy Legion ships. The accuracy doesn't always work out in your favor because you want everything dead. Splitting up my ships here to kill target faster, and again, I'm going to do a little quick before the top targets. Okay, we're back here. Time for the top targets. Time for the things that everyone wants to see hit. Let's see if I can get things going. Don't remember if my screen is shared or not. That's not. Here we go. Okay. Things should be live now. Audio should be working. Things should be on. You should hear me talking. Yep, we are good. Okay. I'm going to go with my right fleet here instead of the Kixeye right fleet. My build is sort of similar, although I have said the Kixeye rights are not the best. I do have an advanced fleet spotlight breakdown where I explain everything, but showing you my right build I'm using here. I've got the new Reef Rider engine, as well as the new open water warfare battery. Those are the 2 changes from last raid. I have 4 ships at U0 and 1 ship at X1. The crew I'm going to use is, I think it's the best crew for this, or was last raid, Silent Hunters, which means you deal 8% higher chance to deal critical with torpedoes. You might already be at 100, but it does make your ships faster too, which is really good. Let's see. I want the level 142 target. Do I? Yes. And this target will pay 250,000. You can auto this, although you will take half your fleet in damage if you try and auto this. So I do not recommend. I have hit one of these before with the Kixeye Riot fleet on the BP Crib show. A little quick disclaimer. Let's see what I can do and try not to hit in. The biggest challenge in this target for me is going to be don't hit the clouds. If I hit the clouds, that's bad. I want to not hit the clouds. I also need to try and keep moving so I don't take explosive damage. Because my ships are geared to have more concussive defense as opposed to explosive defense. Although I guess now we call it survival. So I should try and move perpendicular to these enemy ships, perpendicular to the line of fire, so I outrun the fire twister torpedoes. Because that's these red torpedoes. They're splash damage torpedoes, which means that that you can outrun them, you can outrun their damage. Especially with a slightly faster ship, I can outrun them and avoid taking explosive damage from these targets. So it should mean most of the damage I take is concussive. And I can see my cormorants are firing. My cormorant anti-torpedoes are firing, which is good. I have seen some people said that they weren't, although right there you saw I took out a small enemy torpedo, a small enemy one. I didn't move quite perpendicular to that line of fire, so I did take some explosive damage from this target. And it looks like it's going to be about an hour and a half, probably about an hour and a half of repair from this target. If you work better on those back 3, you can probably get it down to more like half an hour, maybe even 25 minutes total, although I'm not sure about that. Really simple target. Let's get my thoughts on it because it's a new one. I like it. It's small enough that things work well. It didn't take me forever to complete. It took me 2 minutes to do that target, which is great. Damage taken, Small concussive, more explosive. That means my driving is bad. It needs to be worked on. So it does seem a little bit tricky to drive in this particular target. I think that having one with only hell wraiths, while it is a little bit boring, is sure okay. It makes it so you can auto it. Total damage, hour and 20 minutes, 19 seconds. I'm going to write that in the YouTube chat so I remember, so that I can. I'm not going to repair this fleet until the end where I hit the after all the targets I can get through. You can see I have one ship at X1, and that ship did take about the same damage. I think the torpedoes target this one ship that's X1. That's why I have my upgrade ship in the back of the fleet. I'm not sure why this one in particular took more damage. I guess it's just bad luck. Ideally, things should target X1, and that's what they have been doing. Let's see if I can hit at level 143 and have a little bit better luck. Now this one, you should not auto, because I'm convinced that if you do, your fleet will die, and you do not want your ships to die. And you can do that target I just showed you with the Kixeye Riot fleet, and I might try and get a video out on that. This is a level 143 Reaver target. There's all enemy ships types in here. It has a bunch of mines, has everything in. I'm going to try and keep moving, and only take damage that I need to that's concussive. Looks and avoid all the mines. I don't know if I said that. This first Hellwraith, I'm dancing around it. I think I took a little bit more damage than I needed to. It'd be better if I tried to drive in a little bit more of a straight line. I am sort of going to try and avoid me hitting the mines, definitely, and probably also avoid the enemy targets hitting the mines too. Because if enemy targets hit the mines, then it means you are going to get lower. It means you get, if enemy targets hit the mines, you get fewer points in the total target. Although I think that Hellwraith might have just hit the mines, or that's not true. My junk jets here, my aft cannons, that orange ones, if they're pointing at a Hellwraith and they fire at the mines, then you will kill. I was concentrating there. You will kill the mines if your junk jets shoot at them, although your junk jets can't target them, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Okay, I have a lot of things coming at me, so I'm going to disengage. I repeat, disengage and get everything. I'm going to kill this cluster of 3 here and not worry about that Hulk until everything else around it is done. Because it will have torpedoes. The main word from the Hulk is the ice torpedo. These enemy mortars it's shooting out right now. I have countermeasures against those that shoot most, if not all of them, down. So I only really have to worry about the ice torpedo from the Hulk, which you need to dodge. Okay, here we go. So ice torpedo's out. It's not going in a straight line because of the wall. If it is moving at me, I need to move perpendicular to its path at a 90-degree angle to its path. One of them will come out before I'm done killing it, I'm sure, right there. So it comes out at me and it does turn, but it's not as good as turning as I am at moving. So I'm able to outrun it because I move perpendicular to it. Once that's done, there's another Hulk that I need to kill. There's an ice torpedo here too, which is going to be a little bit harder to kill because you get trapped in a corner, but I did manage to do it. It seems like these enemy Hulks are shooting at me more quickly. It seems like they're reloading on their mortars more quickly than what I'm used to. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it definitely seems like it. I didn't get... There we go. I did get the Hulk killed. And that last ice torpedo I dodged, I had to keep moving further and further away. Okay. Still some enemy concussive ships left here. These Reaver Scouts aren't a very big deal. They only do a little bit of concussive damage. And did I outrange it there? I think I did outrange that ship from the top of the screen. They have about the same range as you in any case. If you want to know the specific damage types of each enemy target, each enemy ship, you're going to have to look at either the Kixeye forum post or the raid strategy guide that I put out a month before last raid even started that showed the damage and the weapon, damage type and the weapons used and all that kind of thing. So I do have a video that shows how to kill individual ships and what the best practices are for those. Like, I knew you had to outrun these red torpedoes, these Hellwraith Fire Twister torpedoes. Okay. We're done with that target there. That was another 250,000 for dealing damage. So that's 500,000 points from those two targets for dealing damage, plus a 500,000 point set bonus. You get 1 million points for those two targets. Damage taken on this particular target, you can see, is about even, concussive, and explosive. Remember, my armor is weighted concussive, so in actuality, if I had balanced armor like most people do, I would have taken more concussive damage and less explosive damage. You want these two to be about the same length when you're driving really well or you're driving your average, which is good. That means my armor setup's right for these targets. We're up to 2 hours and 13 minutes damage, which means I took 57 minutes damage on that target, which is good. So I have 2 hours, 13 minutes for a total of 1 million points from that particular set. I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit the 904. And what I can do with the 904 is I'm going to hit it, and I already showed on the BP Crib Show, you can hit the target and end it really quickly. You can end it in less than 2 minutes by just killing the regular ships. And you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. I'm going to put my damage in YouTube chat again, so you can see that's how much damage I've taken after just 2 targets. I'm not going to repair. I'm going to go ahead and hit the 3rd target. And that's going to be the 904. And this is a co-op target too, so you can bring a friend in here and do it with a friend if you want to. You don't have to, although all players that are in the target at the same time will get the set bonus. The same thing is true for the level 803. If you're in it when, if another player is in it and they enter after all the enemy ships are dead, is what I recommend, they get the set completion bonus. Same thing for the 904. There will be enemy ships incoming at various points in the target, so you have to be careful. Because if they join, and they're not expecting to join, and if they only bring in like a half-dead single riot, it's not going to be very good. So they need to make sure they're not going to a spot that's going to be hit by all the enemy ships. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I leave one of these enemy ships in this target. There's a couple ships here that have this yellow ring on this target. There's 4 Hellrace in each of the corners, then another Hulk in the middle. I'm going to leave one of the Hellrace in one of the corners and kill every wave of incoming enemy ships. Every 2 minutes, there's a wave that joins this target that comes in and tries to kill you. If you want all the 1 million points in this target, you need to wait and you need to kill all of the waves. If I just kill these 4 Hellwraiths and the Hulk in the middle, then the battle will end immediately. There's more than 4 Hellwraiths, by the way. I'm not sure why I said 4. But if you kill those, the battle ends, but you only get about 100,000 points for killing these central 4 or 5 ships. That's not very good. I want the full 1 million points. I want to show you what's in all the waves, so I'm going to make sure that I kill everything in this target. I'm pretty happy with my build so far. It's working out well. Let's see. I'm going to trigger this and run away so the ice torpedo doesn't hit me. Like I was saying, I'm pretty happy with my build. I'm not going to change anything, I don't think, for the rest of the raid. Maybe I could have gone with signal amplification armor over Hydra atomizer nozzle, although that was just a personal choice that I made. There's a torpedo there, so I have to run. Look at that. Okay, I took a little bit of rocket damage maybe, but not that bad. See, these Hellwraiths with everything with the orange target on its head mean to kill me before. If you kill all of these, the battle will end. I'm going to leave one so I can show all the rounds here, because enemy waves will start coming in, and I think there's 4 waves total, and the higher waves will deal more. Will have more points. So like I said, you want the full 1 million points. You have to be in a target for all the waves till all these ships at the side are done. And you have to make sure nothing runs over the mines. Because if things do run over the mines, it means you take less damage. It's pretty good. And so far, I think I could do... I could probably get it to 25 minutes total in this target, just killing everything that I need to end the battle. But that wouldn't do it. I think I could do instant repair just to end the battle with my fleet. We have enemy things incoming here, enemy ships. they're going to die. These ones are not ones from the middle of the target. This is wave 1. Wave 1 of incoming things is not a lot. It's not very threatening. It's what, like 2 hell wraiths and like 4 scouts. There's not a lot of stuff there. I do have a pretty good following here with all of them following me. I think Kenny made that joke. But killing these gets me more points. It doesn't end the target, but it does get me more points. If I were to kill, I have 2 hell wraiths in this target. If I killed those, then the battle would end. But I'm not going to do that yet. I want to make sure I'm getting everything here. This does sort of remind me of that raid back with the one of the original Reaver raids where things would teleport into the target with a cool animation, and you were in the middle of both a Draconian and a hell wraith target. I thought that was a fun one. I wish they would bring that kind of mechanic back. I know people didn't, but I seem to like it. I can't even remember. Those were Berserkers. That was the ships I was using in that raid. I maxed out a bunch of Berserkers and put on some Torrent missiles, which was, it worked, I guess. Not very well. And they would just kill everything that got close to them, but they'd take damage in order to do it. Kind of like the current Reaver ships we have. The, what's that one that we use in our bases? Why can't I remember a ship that we use to hit bases? The Howler. Kind of like the Howler. Okay. We have more things incoming here. I think everything's cleared off the right. These are just 2 hell wraiths. Nothing, not a big deal here. There's nothing you have left to service them. The torpedo towers that emit cab rings. They're all dead. So maybe if you drove more carefully and left some of those, you could save some of that. That's dead. And if I killed this top one here, the battle would end. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get other things coming at me. These looks like I have a lot of ships left here. They're all incoming at once. Okay. I'm going to kill them just for more points. This doesn't end the battle, doesn't get you anything extra other than more damage and more points. I'm going to see if this, I think this target, if you hit the top one, will be the most worth it. It gives you a 250,000 set bonus, and there's no set bonus for completing all 3 of these top targets, unlike previous raids where there used to be. Previous raids, you'd get 1,000,000 points for this, and a 250,000 set bonus for the top target, and then a 250,000 point bonus for completing all 3 of the tier A targets. And that's not the case anymore. So it means that you might just want to hit this one target 100 times, and that's your raid. It might get a little bit boring, but you can do it. And I think it's going to be most worth it. I'll have to see at the end to hit the entire target and take all the waves. That's my hypothesis. I'm going to do a little bit of math and figure out, what's the best target to hit point-wise. Obviously, you could hit one target over and over and get it instant repair with using riots on some of the silverfish targets, things like that, or some of the assault stuff. But that's boring. Nobody wants to do that. I want to play the raid. I want to have fun. I want to take some damage. Okay, right. More Reaver stuff are incoming. Oh boy, we have like at least 3 Hulks here. You can see that the Reaver health bar is jumping around a lot. The one little bit that's left right now is for the Hell Wraith, but as soon as enemy torpedoes spawn, right here, that ice torpedoes there, which I just took damage from, the health bar in the top left increases. This last round's pretty challenging, and I want to kill these ice torpedoes before they kill me. I want to kill these Hulks before they kill me. So I have to keep moving, otherwise I'll be very sad. It looks like I can't get very close to them because of the clouds, so I'm gonna have to kill the other ships first before I get into the engaging with the Hulks. Yeah, that's a pretty big. I don't like that the target's kind of that glitchy. I don't like the health bar changing. It annoys me. Okay, well, at least the island here blocks the enemy ice torpedoes. That's a good thing. It also blocks your regular torpedo, so if something's on the other side of the island, you can't hit it. Okay, they're all ice torpedoes going one way, which means I'll go the other way. Here's what I'm talking about. If I'm on this side, I can't hit that scout, but the scout could hit me because it does not have torpedo weapons. Okay. Moving perpendicular to the ice torpedoes. I want to try and get this Hulk. Oh, there's a lot of incoming mortar fire. I'm not shooting it all down. I have 5 gales here, with each ship has a hydroatomizer nozzle. It's not quite enough to shoot down all these gales. Looks like it's sort of close, but I'd expect the majority of these points in this target are from this Hulk and are from these gales here. So you're not going to be able to do. I'm sure you could do the entire, all the regular, the 6 Hell Wraiths and the 1 Hulk in the middle. That seems very probable to do instant repair. I don't think it's realistic to do this target here instant repair with hitting everything. I don't know if you saw, but I took a lot of damage there from getting hit by 2 ice torpedoes at once. But as soon as I killed this last one, that will end the target, and I'll show you my results. Looks like most of the damage I took here was concussive, most of the damage was explosive from those last couple ice torpedoes, which is bad. Means I'm a bad driver on this one, so I should be able to do a little bit better in the future. So repair time, you can see I completed one of the. This is for the tier X. It's just the very top set, 250,000 points. I got 924,000 points here. For how much? It's pretty close to 1 million. How much extra damage did I take? Beforehand, I had 2 hours 13 minutes. This brought it up to 344. So right there in itself, that was an extra hour and a half damage for 1 million points, as opposed to getting 2 hours and 13 minutes damage for 1 million points. Let me start that sentence over. Hitting the level 124 hitting the level 142 and level 143 gives me a total damage of 2 hours and 13 minutes for 1 million points. Okay, that's decent. But hitting the 904 by itself gives me an hour and a half damage instead of 2 hours and 15 minutes for 1 million points. So even with the really poor driving on this top target, hitting the entire top target is the way to go. Now, I suppose if you got it down to instant repair for the basic yellow ships you need to target, and got that instant repair, that would give you 250,000 points instant repair for the 904 with only hitting what you need to, only killing what you need to end the target. So if you want to spend a lot of seat time, a lot of grinding, it's best to hit that top target, which you could do with your regular riot fleets too. The Kixeye gave you, not mine, which has 1 ship upgraded and has a better build than Kixeye's riots. So I hope that some of the targets here that you saw was helpful. I hope that's something that you learned something here. I did show my build for a couple of these ships, so I hope that helped too. I will be making sure to upload some other videos, if it's not today, maybe tomorrow, going through on on the targets I hit here. The new ones will be uploaded to my channel. The old ones are already on my channel in some form. Some of the Pegasus targets are all that we've seen before. So I'll get a couple videos out for the 142, 143, and 904. I'll get some out for that, as well as a my basic thoughts on a Punisher build before we've seen any of the stuff from the Forsaken mission that's upcoming. So if this video did help you, if this stream did help you, a like on YouTube would let me know that a lot and let me know that it was good. Because if I see likes on YouTube, if I see you watched all the way to the end, it means something, and it means that I'll make more videos like this if people enjoy watching the videos and get something out of them. So you can go ahead and leave a like on a YouTube video and check out the rest of my channel. The rest of the videos I'm going to publish, some of the ones that I already have on here, are still useful for this raid. I have my Riot Fleet Spotlight on there, as well as a video talking about how to change the regular Kixeye Riots, which, by the way, is changing around the CTX Alloy Armor Special for Shielded Amplification Armor or Hydro Atomizer Nozzle, as well as adding a Cormorant if you have it. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and as always, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.